Hey now, and welcome down to KC Toy Reviews. We are here today with The Madman by Goodtoys, aka Joker from the brand new Batman movie, or should I say, The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. Now, personally, I was a big fan of that movie. I thought Robert Pattinson did a fantastic job. And if you did see, in the end, we did have this little tease of the next Joker, which is in front of us. And I forget that guy's name, Barry something. And clearly it's a very different take on Joker, which isn't a bad thing. But the question of the day is this figure worth your time, your effort, and your money? And I hate to say it right off the bat, but things are not looking good with this one. So, if you're at all curious about those details, then let's go ahead and dive right the hell goddamn in. Alright, so here we are again with Matt Reeves' version of The Joker. And well, I'm going to be brutally honest and not waste too much time here and say I was extremely disappointed as soon as I pulled this thing out of the box. For starters, a few things just fell apart immediately, like the chain that you see around his neck. See if I can pick the one up here. This is actually supposed to be in there somewhere glued, and it fell apart. So unfortunately, I don't have the chain on the neck. I'm probably going to get some type of stronger adhesive or super glue, which looks like what they use, unfortunately. Now, starting with the head sculpt, I'm probably going to be the odd one out when I say this. However, I'm not 100% disappointed with the head sculpt. I don't think it's terrible. Yes, it's not great, but a lot of it does fall on the artistic representation that Matt Reeves put out in this Joker. As far as the team and what they did with the paint applications, the sculpted face, unless this is just straight up stolen from another artist, then I would say the head sculpt is really not that horrible, especially through the camera lens. I'm picking up some nice shadows, a slight glisten to the teeth, which is always a nice realistic touch, and then just those bumps, bruises, wrinkles, and sinister look. Now, similar to the head sculpt, I actually don't think the tailoring on the Jailbird outfit is that bad. The printed Arkham State Hospital little signature there to the right is not horrible. The pocket, the sew and hemlines are pretty small, so proportionally they actually do fit well. And even right down to the color contrast and the snugness of the outfit, I would say that they didn't do a horrible job. So one thing that was super disappointing was that they showed off these cool looking sickly arms, but there is no articulation in the wrists on this guy. Whoop, almost knocked him over. So I was super disappointed. So as far as posability, the 90-degree single bend elbows are super stiff as it is. I mean, just get that one little bit. So we can't admire these sickly details on the arm here. I mean, it's a pretty nice touch versus the very stereotypical 1/6 scale body. I would say it's uncommon to have these detailed type of arms on here. It's just very disappointing that we have this very stiff 90-degree single bend elbow, which basically almost makes this guy feel like a statue. And let's go over the legs. I'm done. Now we can hit up several areas with this one shot here. For starters, these things on the ankle, I mean, I don't know what the hell they are. They're clearly not made for this figure. They look like something straight up out of the hardware store. And I'm not saying it's a horrible thing. I mean, they kind of fit and they look the part, but they were a little bit clunky putting them on. And then something about the feeling of the legs here and the ankle is just very janky. When I put too much pressure on the legs, the ankles start to crumble really quickly on this guy. Now, he comes with a stand. You're not going to be moving him too much. It's a very minor gripe. Some people might be rolling their eyes as I say it, but believe it or not, posing him, it did leave me frustrated a couple times due to the ankle giving out. And then next, we can take note to the Batman stand. I mean, I thought that was actually kind of a nice touch. It's a branded The Batman versus just some black stand. So I did enjoy the stand. I like the single crotch grabber style versus those two metal poles. So overall, I was actually impressed with the stand that was included with this. And if anybody cares, double jointed knees. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I highly doubt you. Actually, you know what? Maybe you'd have them sitting down. Yeah, I guess you're going to have them sitting down so you'd have less trouble having them in a sit down pose. But yeah, these little janky ankles down here. Maybe that's why, because of the direction that's going. And of course, as always, a quick view of Joker's ass. And before we wrap this up, I just wanted to show the back of him here. Shows the Arkham State Hospital printed design here. Nothing to necessarily rave about. However, as I mentioned earlier, as far as the tailoring goes, it has this nice snug fit. We have these logo design all over it. It's nice just seeing the Arkham name on there. Although, as I'm saying that, is there something wrong with my M? It's a funky looking M. Huh. And let's go ahead and go over the accessories really quickly. One singular card. Not that I'm necessarily bitching and moaning. I think this guy was $150 shipped with a stand. What we have so far, I mean, it's not horrible, but the one singular card is some weird type of slap in the face. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't even make sense either. Why would he have a card inside jail? I've seen a lot of times where Joker's in jail, and he usually doesn't have the cards inside of his jail cell. But anyways, you can slip this into his statue-like body, probably jam this right in between one of those fingers there, and have him holding the card while he has handcuffs on. It doesn't make any sense to me, but you can do it. And there we have it. The Madman by Goodtoys, a.k.a. Joker, from Matt Reeves' The Batman. Now, for starters, I do want to note I usually have a few different poses going on at the end here. However, with Statue Man, I couldn't figure anything other than what we have in front of us. Perhaps I could have taken the cuffs off, but it just looks stupid without that. But those statue-like arms and the lack of accessories with this guy leave you to very, very limited posability options. But let's hone in on some positives. Again, that head sculpt was not horrible. It could use a tuning. I'm not saying it's the greatest one out there, but I think we're looking at not just the paint application and the overall quality of it, but what we're also seeing is Matt Reeves' version of the Joker in there, which, well, I think is very much so left to be desired. Being that I am a massive Joker fan, I've never been very picky about the version or artistic representations that's been brought to us, whether that's Jared Leto or some of the classic ones like Heath Ledger. I've really enjoyed all Jokers on the big screen. And I'm drawing a blank on the actor again, Barry Cougar, something like that. If he does end up taking this role and going further with it, I'm excited for what we're about to see with it because it is a very different take on Joker. And with that said, I think it's actually a great segue to a score on this guy, and I'll be honest, I knew it almost from the moment I started speaking in this video, and what came to mind is a 5.2 out of 10. I really struggled to get this guy into the 6 category due to the fact that he's basically a statue. The head sculpt, like I said, is left to be desired because we have a mixed bag of quality and the artistic representation brought to us by Matt Reeves. Positive again is, well, I didn't mind the head sculpt. I thought it was pretty decent. The tailoring was decent. It was snug on the body. But do I want to pay $150, open something up, and have it start falling apart on me? And there are these little white knickknacks and scratches to the stand that he's on. Let's stress, these are all minor gripes to the average individual, but we do need to be honest and clear what's in front of us. So with a 5.2 out of 10 and some hardware wrapped around his ankles and the chains that's fallen off around his neck, I have a hard time recommending this figure to anybody. If you're a die-hard Joker fan, this is probably one of the only affordable routes to get the Batman version of Joker right now. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here today with The Madman by Goodtoys. Super excited for the Batman 2 and look forward to whatever this Joker brings next to the big screen. See you guys later. Blah!